You see job ads all the time, right? But have you ever stopped to really read one? Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct a single job ad to uncover what it tells us about the modern economy and the real value of a very specific high-tech skill. So let's start with the number that probably made you click. $40 to $45 an hour. We're not talking about a minimum wage gig here. This is a serious, professional level salary. It's the kind of number that definitely makes you pay attention. But of course, the big question is, what does it actually take to earn that kind of money? This isn't just some random number they pulled out of a hat. It's a price tag for a very particular set of skills and responsibilities. So let's dig in and find out what those are. All right, section 1, the offer. We've seen the pay rate, and yeah, it's impressive. But that's really just the hook. Let's look past that headline number and figure out what the actual opportunity is. First thing, this isn't a temporary gig. The ad clearly says full-time position for a CNC operator, but then it adds, in parentheses, Fanuc specialist. Now, that tells us two huge things. One, the company's looking to invest in someone for the long haul. And two, they need an expert, not just someone who can do general machine work. So let's move on to decoding the role. This ad, like a lot of them in skilled trades, is packed with technical jargon. Let's translate it into plain English and figure out what this person really does all day. This line right here gets to the absolute heart of the job. You're not just pushing a button. You are taking a technical blueprint, what they call a workshop drawing, and you're the one responsible for turning that design into a real physical object by setting up and running a really complex machine. Which is a totally fair question. I mean, these aren't exactly household terms, but they're the absolute core of this job. And if you want to understand that big salary, you've got to understand what these things are. Okay, so a CNC lathe. It's a super advanced piece of equipment. The easiest way to think about it is like a high-tech potter's wheel. But instead of spinning clay that you shape with your hands, it spins a block of metal and computer-guided tools cut and shape it with unbelievable precision. This is the machine that makes the parts for all the other machines. And here's where we get even more specific. Fanuc isn't the machine itself. It's the control system, the computer interface you use to talk to the machine. It's like a job ad that doesn't just ask for a writer, it asks for a writer who's an expert in one very specific, very complex piece of software. That demand for niche expertise, that's a huge reason for the high pay. All right, section 3, the ideal candidate. So we know the what, we know what the job is, now let's look at the who. What kind of person are they actually looking for to do this? What's interesting is how the ad breaks down the requirements. It basically creates two lists, the absolute must-haves, the things that'll get you in the door, and then the nice-to-haves, the skills that'll actually land you the job. So here are the non-negotiables. And notice the mix here. Of course, you absolutely need the hard skill, that specific Fanuc experience. But look what it's listed right alongside. Safety, a good attitude, and being able to learn. They're not just looking for a technician. They're looking for a reliable professional. So, if you've got those basics covered, you're in the running. But what takes you from being just another applicant to being the top choice? The ad gives us one really specific clue. And this, right here, this is the real differentiator. See, it's one thing to operate a machine that someone else has already set up for you. It's a whole other level to be able to do the setup yourself and make adjustments on the fly. This skill signals independence, problem solving, a much deeper level of expertise. And that's probably what gets you from that $40 end of the scale to the $45. Okay, let's flip the script. Section 4, the company's promise. We've talked a lot about what the company wants from you, but it's a two-way street, right? So what are they offering in return besides that paycheck? So these points, they give us a little peek into the company culture. They're hitting all the right notes: safety, training, flexibility, a family environment. It suggests they're not just hiring a pair of hands, they're hiring a person, and they want to invest in their growth. But you know, a lot of those are kind of general promises. Tucked away in the details, though, is one very specific, very tangible benefit that tells you a lot about their approach to work-life balance. Check this out, finishing up at 3:30 on a Friday. That's not just some vague promise of flexibility, that's a concrete perk. It's a small detail, but it sends a really powerful message that they value your time outside of work. You get an early start to your weekend every single week. Okay,
Last section, the final cut. Let's bring all these different pieces together and look at the complete picture that this one little job ad has managed to paint for us.
So when you lay it all out like this, the story becomes crystal clear. This is a chance for a highly skilled specialist to earn a really good wage in what sounds like a pretty supportive company. The key takeaway is that the value isn't just in being a machinist. It's in being an expert with a specific, in-demand piece of technology. And, that's why this is more than just a job ad. It's really a blueprint for a valuable, modern profession. As our world gets more and more technical, the people who can operate and manage that tech become incredibly valuable. This is what a modern new-collar pro looks like. Someone who blends classic trade skills with serious high-tech literacy.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. We hear so much talk about automation and robots replacing human jobs. But this ad, it tells a completely different story. It suggests that in the future, the most valuable people won't be the ones who are afraid of the machines, but the ones who learn how to master them. So maybe the real question isn't whether machines are coming for our jobs, but whether we're ready to learn the skills to be the ones in command.